Welcome to Titan HST's Business Continuity Today, hosted by Todd DeVoe, where planning meets reality.
Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are at in this fine land. And first, I want to say Happy Hanukkah to everybody who celebrated Hanukkah this week, and Happy Christmas or Merry Christmas as we come up to the holidays and any other holiday that you're celebrating during this time. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful holiday season. And today, what we're going to talk about a little bit here is the idea of having offsite files for your business continuity plan. My name is Todd DeVoe. I'm the host of Business Continuity Today, and Titan HST is happy to bring you these ideas. So, when you take a look at your plan, the old school way of doing things is putting everything into a binder, having it on your shelf behind you, and there'd be a few of them out there, like maybe the CEO has one, maybe the operations person does, or whatever. And they were there until they, something happened, and you had to blow the dust off of them to get them going. And it's not very inclusive as far as what I mean by this is getting everybody on the same page. And so other things have occurred. Obviously, we have PDFs and we share those via email to people. Now we can store them, in other ways. But at the same time, it still requires having access, whether it's via your computer or having access to the server, unless somebody happens to download them on their own and puts them in their own phone or whatever. It requires a lot of steps. So when we were looking at some of these issues with our clients, came up with the idea of having site files, which is that the files that you want to have shared with your team. And I've seen it used in many different ways. Some of the school clients that we've worked with in the past, I still work with them now, have put their daily attendance on the site file for the teachers and for the individual teachers as well. So if there's a fire drill or fire alarm or whatever, they have to evacuate the building on their phone. They can just go take a look at who on their daily attendance, who's there, who's not. And it makes it quicker than having that, piece of paper necessarily hanging on a clipboard that you might forget. And, if you do, go back in, and it makes communication so much easier. When we think of having this plan in place, right, whether you're using Titan or other platforms, now that you have to go through and make sure that you have somebody who has access to the file as the person supposed to have access to the file, right? And so you can have securely uploaded so that whoever you want to share it with their permissions gets that file. And on the other side of it too is that people can upload information as well. So I want to go back just a couple seconds here, because the idea here is that information during an emergency is critical, right? And whether it's information that you're sharing out with your team or information that you're getting back from the field into your command post to make decisions, right? That's critical. So information that's turned into intelligence that becomes workable. Well, that's the best part about what we're doing here at Titan HST is that you're able to get information from the field, right? So your security staff, your public safety officers, your campus safety, whatever you're using, and on that side of it, your facilities people can walk around, take photographs of issues that are happening, and send that information back to you. I think that's an exciting portion of what we don't have in the past, or didn't have in the past, is the ability to have people in the field share information on a real-time basis back to the decision makers. And that's one of those things that we've been working pretty hard on. As we're coming up into the winter weather, right? The other day, this is the crazy part about it. The other day here in Southern California, we actually had snow on Huntington Beach. And I found that pretty cool, right? So we have crazy winter weather coming in here. You have people coming from all sorts of directions where, to the office, or if they're working remotely. And so these storms that hit, like if you took a look at Buffalo the other day with the storm that hit them, taking pictures and having information shared up, but also the ability to get access to your crisis plans is critical. And that's why having site files is one of those seriously critical things that you need to be sharing with your team. I don't want to get too deep into all the pieces. If you guys are looking for more information on this, go ahead and contact Titan HST at titanhst.com for more information and a demo on how to properly use the site files. I think that you guys will be excited about it. It's something that I'm excited about whenever I get to, think about using this for business continuity purposes. And I think that you guys will find some very good value in it as well. Let's move into the general plan, right? When you think about sharing information, what do you do? What is your plan as far as putting permissions and people that can have this information and can act on this information? And so you have your general plan, and that general plan has to be put someplace where everybody can take a look at this thing. When I was working in higher education, I thought it was critical for even the students to have access to the general plan, so much so that we created a little booklet for them that was our quick guide. And it wasn't obviously the entire general plan, but it took the important parts of it that the students needed to have access to, and we gave it to them in their hands. And then one of the problems that we had, though, is do students really, we give them to them on freshman orientation, they're available at the campus safety department and the student center. But the problem is students don't want to walk around with a quick plan in their pocket, even, as much as I think they were cool. I don't think the students thought they were all that great, as far as what students do. So the idea here is putting that piece of information up so quickly it can be accessed. And there's important information there, such as like access to where the AEDs are, where first aid equipment is, what to do in case of, we had bobcats running around the campus, what to do in case of you see a bobcat, how do you report that up? Snakes, tons of rattlesnakes, issues like this. So all that information was in that quick plan. And what we decided to do is upload that into the shared files, right, onto the app. And so it's in their hand. They can get to it quickly and be able to look at this information. And everything in there too, as far as like how to get a hold of campus safety, how to get a hold of the crisis center in case of suicide issues, things like that. Very, very good information in a condensed form. And that's how we shared it. We thought it was really important to make it to where the students would have that in their pocket, whether it's the quick guide physically paper or through the phone app. And it worked, and it's been used, and the cool part about it is that having that information there and the students know how to access it, it actually has helped other students and it saved some lives, right? As far as suicide prevention, getting people reported for unusual behavior to the crisis center, and it's got to save lives. So I think that is really important, that using that tool the way it does actually saves lives. Coming into this holiday season, we never want to see anybody have any issues, and this seems to be a time of year where we have a lot of those type of psychological emergencies, and having that quick guide in hand to be able to talk somebody down and also be able to get them help, I think is critical. So I think it's done its job and it has saved lives. That is the whole purpose of this, right? The whole purpose of having what we do as business continuity and emergency management professionals is to be able to educate people so they can make good decisions and the critical time that has to be done, and giving them the tools and the access to the tools to be able to make good decisions when they are in a crisis. I tell you something, you go to your lowest level of training. We talk about this all the time. Where have you been trained to? And you don't have the function to be able to go higher. So you go through training exercises to be able to get to the information, and this will calm people down. Sounds silly, right? It sounds like, by the time that you need to read this, shouldn't you already know it? Well, you might not know it, remember it, and it jogs the memory, and it gets people to do the right thing in the right time. So sharing information is critical. Having one location for people to go to see that information, train them through exercises such as earthquake drills or fire drills, or hurricane drills or tornado drills, whatever you're doing, train them up, have them being able to get to that, access the information to remind them what to do the right thing, and you can save lives as well. I do want to wish everybody a wonderful holiday season coming into the new year. I hope that you guys take a look, take time to reflect, not just for what you're doing business wise, but take time to reflect to be with your family and friends during this holiday season. And again, I thank you very much for spending time with me this morning. And thank you for spending time with Titan HST's Business Continuity today. And until next week, I want you all to stay safe and stay hydrated.